Hey, thanks for tuning into the show. You are listening to the Bevel's Advocate podcast, a Kendama podcast by Honed Media, hosted by yours truly, Ryan Reese. And tonight I am joined by Tony Stabile. And it's actually
Howdy.
this morning for a good friend of mine and somebody who I've done a lot of work with overseas. And this is Jonathan Lee.
Hey, what's up,
And
guys?
Jonny, it's really good to have you. It's good to kind of like, I've talked to you on the phone, I've talked to you over email, I've talked to you over Facebook. I've edited a lot of the stuff that you've contributed to honemedia.com, and it's like, it's so good to actually talk like kind of face to face, after all that. And so I appreciate you coming onto the show. And Tony, this is the first time that you've met Jonny, or have you guys talked before?
No, I think this is the first time, other than, a couple of brief messages. So,
But you know of Jonny, right?
oh, sure, yeah.
What do you know?
Well, I've seen Johnny himself, and is that like your business partner? The other,
Oh yeah, Wen Quan. Yeah, so he's my other.
Is that Wen?
Two of us. Yeah, two of us run Cereal.
Okay, yeah, I see
Yeah.
both of you guys like pretty active in the FKC, and you're pretty on top of the customer service and stuff like that. I've noticed that for sure. So that's pretty cool.
Have you ever played a Cereal Kendama?
I haven't. As far as like their kendamas go, I remember you guys a lot for like. I feel like I remember seeing a lot of like pretty crazy like sales and stuff. And like, did you guys sell like other kendamas through your site in the past, or
Yeah, so
like other brands?
we actually have quite a long history. We're turning 6 in April next year. So
Okay.
we started off as a. Oh, should I go into this because this goes into like the history of Kendama in Singapore and everything?
Yeah, go through it.
We came across Kendama in mid 2014, and we were hooked, right? And we wanted to like kind of let more people try, but there weren't many retailers in Singapore, so we figured, hey, let's just get some Kendamas in. And most of the kids, they don't have like online payment methods like back in 2015, so we actually didn't know what wholesale was, so we just bought like a bunch of stuff off Black Friday and said, like, we're selling
Yeah.
to you like at the same price.
Yeah.
So that's how Cereal Kendama started. It was essentially us just trying to like get more people to play, and then whatever brand had like a discount, because it's so expensive to ship here, whatever had a brand
Yeah.
had a discount, we just like bought it. Yeah.
So they're going from China right to the US, and then you're ordering from companies in the US that are shipping to you in Singapore, or?
Oh, we didn't know it was made in China, so we were just
Right.
like, we only knew like the BLK Kendama, which is a really, really old brand. It's my first Kendama.
Yeah, sure. I remember them.
Chrome, Kusa. So it's not like we were buying like the Dunkins or the Walmart Kendamas, because they mostly didn't sell online. No, we don't really have
Right.
Amazon here. Yeah, so
But they were all
like,
coming a ways as far as shipping, right? Like,
yeah, it would cost a lot to ship.
yeah,
So,
okay.
Our first batch that we bought was actually Chrome, because Chrome carried Azoras and Sunrisers. So we're like, wow, this company carries like 3 brands. Like, let's just get like 10 Kendamas, and then yeah, the rest is history. Yeah.
When did you guys end up making your own kendamas?
I think about late 2015. So like we didn't make our own because we weren't really confident of like what we wanted a kendama shape to be. And I think like in the 2015 and 2016, like kendama shapes progress not really fast. Like prior to Sweets coming out with the F3, everyone had kind of like followed like the TK or the Ozora kind of shape. Like, I mean,
Sure.
best kendama shape, right? Kaizen V1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think until we were
Shout out.
confident of like what to make, we didn't really want to make anything. Yeah.
So when you chose Cereal though as like a name, and that's what your brand is going to be, what is it about breakfast that you're like so obsessed with? Why was it called Cereal?
So we were studying, right? We were in college when we came across Kendama, and then like we're thinking, what do we want to call ourselves? And we felt like every morning we would pick up Kendama, much like we would have like breakfast. So we wanted
first
to call
thing you
it
do in the morning is pick up Kendama.
Yeah. It's as important as breakfast, So like, because we sleep like by the bed, right? Then we get up and then you just do an earth turn before you brush your teeth. So like,
it gave you energy for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It was the most important meal of the day.
Yeah, unless you couldn't lace, then you'd hurt for the rest of the day. Yeah.
Then you starve for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I got
So
you.
that's
Okay.
cereal.
So that's
Like
interesting. So
spoiled milk.
right. And I think you guys have one of the more interesting logos for a kendama company because there's so many little kendamas inside the
Yeah.
logo. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of a complicated logo, don't you think?
I don't know if I ever
Yeah.
noticed that.
It's a box dropping little kendamas. Yeah, so that's
Because
the
don't
most
think I ever
problem.
saw
companies
the
just
little
have
kendama.
like one symbol, or like they just try to keep it as simple as possible. But I noticed with cereal,
Yeah.
it's literally a cereal box pouring kendamas out.
Yeah, so like we didn't know whether we make our own kendama, so we didn't imagine it being like really, really small, like on the handle. So just never
Yeah.
Right,
like
right. Okay,
occurred to
yeah.
us,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah. It just
I
kind of ended
designed,
up being like that.
yeah, I designed it on like a laptop screen. So I was like, oh wow, it's like nice and detailed, super HD. Until we made it like into stickers and the kendama was like, oh crap,
Right,
it's gonna look
right.
like little dots. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is, because you named your company Cereal Kendama. It's weird. I get this feeling that you ripped it off from another company. Was it influenced by another company?
No.
It's not
That's
not a kendama company. Here, wait. I have something to show you.
okay.
I have a feeling that you got the idea for cereal kendama from this famous cereal brand called Serratos.
Oh, that's so
I
cool.
don't know if you ever had these, but they're very popular in the
No,
U.S. And you
we
can
don't get that in Singapore,
it almost looks like the exact same logo.
It's
Oh
kind of
dear.
similar. I like
That's
that
so
cool.
that catchphase there, yum. It
Yeah,
really makes me want to eat
right.
some.
Well, they're really good.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna eat some. So, Johnny, tell me, what are the differences between kendama in the West or the United States, compared to where you're located in the world, Southeast Asia, right?
Yeah, so Kendama is different. I think primarily because of price. So like a $20 like boost radar, with shipping and everything, it comes up to be like maybe $30, like 30 USD, where we're from. And the thing is like, if you look at Southeast Asia, right, there's like 10 major countries. So like Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Brunei. Out of the 10, I would say like only 2 to 3 are first world. So like Singapore, Malaysia, and Brunei. So like you see in Philippines, a lot of players buy like whatever they can find. Yeah, so for them, like buying one kendama, it's like it's nuts really. It's a lot of money, and that's like a boost radar, which is the most entry level, right?
Right,
So
right.
a lot of be like the $5 kind of like tribute strung kendamas. Yeah,
But you
and
said
then
like
once in a while.
Right, or like an
you
older
guys, we
uh,
don't get
Mm.
many of we don't get
But
many of those crappy kendamas, huh? You mentioned before.
yeah,
You don't even have the crappy ones, so it's all you know what I mean.
yeah,
At least your
in
selection's a little
Singapore it's
better.
not so much. So like Singapore is the complete opposite, right? Like when it was its peak of its boom, like every kid had a homegrown, and I'm like, dude, that's so homegrowns were like 100 Singapore dollars here, like
Yeah.
all in. Yeah, so I was like, dude, you have $100 kendama, like
wow.
that's intense. And like, okay, teach me how to spike. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll take my sunrise and I'll show you how to spike. But Singapore's a bit of the opposite. Singapore is very similar to like Romania or Brunei, or okay, Hawaii. I think the best comparison to Singapore would be Hawaii. The same
Hawaii,
boom and the same nuts. Everybody trying to sell it, and then like most people would like they play kendama would sell kendama just because.
Right. So Singapore kind of had a fad phase, like kind of everywhere else.
Yeah, but it was huge. Like because Singapore is so small, right? Okay, so geography, like Singapore's 26 miles wide, so that's it.
No way.
Yeah,
For real.
So 5 million of us stay on a 26-mile wide island.
Right.
So it's very
Right.
dense, and like you could have a jam with like an average jam, like 100, 200 kids show up, right? So it really like
because they're not going
exploded.
more than 20 miles to
Right.
get there.
They're all there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Walk
everything's
down the
connected
street.
by a train. Yeah, or you walk down the street to like a community center.
You could throw a kendama off the roof and it would hit
spike
5
it.
kendama players. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So there's a funny story about that, and that kind of like writes the kind of like death of kendama in Singapore. So there was this one trick where many years ago, Coop threw a tama at Max in the warehouse.
Right.
And then like it lands to spike, and then these kids saw it's like, okay, you know what, we're gonna do it. So they go to this like big mall, they go to like the 5th floor of the mall and just like toss a tama like to the middle of crowd, and then this kid's like just trying to catch it, and
Right.
then ton of bad press after that. Yeah, so there were many
Yeah.
incidents of like kids being like rowdy Kendama. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, kids, right? So,
Kind of like just tossing it around, throw it around, being wild with it.
yeah, I mean like playing
Yeah.
on the trains and then like breaking windows. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think
Swimming in the
Kendama causes
fountain.
that. Yeah,
Well, just like
fountains.
just throwing it around.
Yeah, like Chrome was really big in Singapore. So like when it started to pick up, like Tokyo and Philip actually came down. So like flow was a very, very big thing to like, if you're talking about the play style of Singapore, like there was a phase where like flow was a really big thing. So we
Right.
play games of cans, right? And then the guy's line is like a minute long.
Right.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
So
hate
like
that.
because flow was a big thing, tossing the kendama around like pizza toss was like a big thing in Singapore. Yeah.
Right. And so it was just
So-
kind of flying all over the place, going through windows, breaking glass.
Yeah.
And so people kind of like, oh, okay, you can't. Let me ask you this: have you ever been told that you can't play kendama here?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like now I still
Like they
do as
already, I mean, the person knew what kendama was ready to tell you no, or they were just like, I don't know, I don't like this shit.
well.
I mean, I've been
Sometimes,
kicked out of
yeah.
places for playing kendama before. Like,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
just a place with good lighting at night when I'm downtown or something like that. And
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just trying
I'm
to
just
like get a
curious.
clip. They kick me out just be like, hey, you can't do that here. But I
Right.
mean,
'cause-
but
yeah.
they don't know what I'm doing. Whereas like what
Yeah.
he's saying is like, okay, it already has kind of a notorious position within the community that when they see you doing it, they don't want you to do something dangerous
I
with
think,
it.
like
So they
in
stop you.
2016, yeah, probably 2016, 2017 that happened. Now, like I would say the new generation of security guards don't really know what kendama is.
Yeah.
It's 'cause
That
nobody
bubble
plays
has
it.
already popped, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of came and went.
Yeah.
The
So
bubble burst.
yeah, everywhere you can. You're more likely to find a place you can't play than you can play
Right.
kendama.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I
just-
think that's why people play in like parks or public areas or
yeah.
you know, just a place where you find comfort where like you're not going to be messed around with or I've played in tons of parks because when I play kendama, especially in public, I like to feel comfortable. I like to put in headphones and feel like I know people are watching me probably as they pass by, but I don't want any. I notice that I get more confronted when I don't wear headphones than when I do, where people will come up to me going, hey, what are you doing? Like when I'm playing in a public space like a park, they're like, oh, what is this? What are you doing? And when I have headphones in, they're always they watch. Sometimes they'll step back and watch, but they won't approach me because they see that I'm more into it or engaged with playing, and they just decide on their own that like, okay, I'm not going to bother him. He seems really tuned in. You know what I mean?
Well, I think
And
anyone
so-
with a little bit of tact knows that like having headphones in or on is like the universal symbol for like, listen, I'm doing my thing here.
I'm
Like,
kind of
don't-
tuned
don't
out.
talk to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe we just need to wear headphones when we play in these public spaces at night.
just put the cord in your pocket.
The
It's not even
security
plugged in,
guards won't
like-
fuck with us because they'll just be like, oh,
Yeah.
he really seems tuned in. I'm not gonna tell him no, but
You
yeah,
got to make
so-
some fake headphones as a kendama accessory.
Yeah,
So that
all
for what-
all
when you
Cereal Kendamas
play-
will ship with AirPods now. You know.
Just
Right,
just
they
plastic
should.
AirPods, they don't even work, and it's just like now you pop these things in, you're way less likely to have somebody come up. and
Well,
say,
you see
Such
that
a genius
you know
idea.
that Sony is a big sponsor of NAKO.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of their biggest sponsors with it is mostly the headphones because I
Right.
think that Sony sees or they were able to present some way that kendama players use AirPods, they listen to music, they like to jam with music, and maybe that's a high ticket item, an electronic that can be introduced, very much like how GoPros are with surfing and skateboarding, or you walk into a PacSun and you can see like Nixon watches and they have GoPros and things like that, but like high ticket or Oakleys, you know what I mean? High ticket items that
lifestyle.
really don't have anything to do with the actual sport or anything like that. It's more about the person or individual who engages with it. So
I'm surprised
maybe
like a shoe brand hasn't come on this yet. like
Why is
bands.
that? What would a shoe brand? I mean, you play kendama with your hands. How does it relate to your feet? Like cushioning or something?
Yeah, like cushioning or the feel, like when I play kendamas with shoes, I feel much more like comfortable, more stable.
So,
Even like high socks.
I agree.
Don't you see a lot of people playing barefoot?
Not in Singapore actually. Like
I see a ton of people playing. I've seen people play barefoot on stage.
Do they have you guys got hippies out in Singapore or what?
hippies? No,
They have Crocs?
We had hippies like in the 70s, but yeah, not many left now.
You don't have people running around munching celery with no shoes on?
No. No, not much actually.
Does Singapore still have prostitutes?
Oh yeah, prostitution is legal here.
So prostitution is legal there.
Yeah, so prostitution is legal, but it's illegal to be a pimp. So you have to register to be a prostitute, and then like there's healthcare benefits,
Right, it's kind of registered within the government, and that's how they receive the healthcare. Well, damn, why aren't you hosting events in Singapore? I'll totally fly there. Include that with the event.
Areas. If you ever come to Singapore, I'll bring you around.
Have some special guests. Have the prostitutes play kendama.
Very special guests.
It's so weird because porn is illegal here, but like
really,
there are no.
Have you ever hired a prostitute?
Me no.
It's
not. Yeah,
I don't know,
it's
Johnny.
This one particular area in Singapore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but if
like the
one
red
of my
light
friends
district.
Yeah, so we have a few designated.
He said, "I happen to live in the heart of it, but it's just one.
it's in a specific area of Singapore, right where I live.
But the food there, I go there for the food, like the.
Okay, I see. When you're hungry.
And the supper. Yeah, the supper is really good.
The food's great, I swear.
Yeah. No, we brought Max and Coop when they were here to the real
really?
For food.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they get into any trouble?
For food.
No,
they were starving after the flight.
They didn't get hit by a taxi cab or anything?
No. I think they were starving after Coop had to do like tightrope every 5 minutes. Every some kid's like, hey, you want to do Dub's tightrope with me?
So Johnny, there's a lot of differences between Cereal and other companies out there. What category do you think Cereal is in as a kendama company?
One of the things that we agreed on, okay, so it wasn't that at first because when we had much more time and the scene was very big here. We were doing a lot of like in-store stuff, a lot of jams. But when starting like our full-time jobs, we came to the conclusion that like, we should do this as a passion project. And I think one of the most counterintuitive things like we acknowledged with each other at the start was we're not going to be a big company. Like there's never going to be a day where we make like 1,000 pieces of like one design,
You
like
knew that right off the bat that you didn't want to be a big company.
Yeah. So like
and it's not like it's not like the early stages or being the stage of being small isn't just a step in the process of getting large to you. That was just
Well, I think that's a very American capitalist mentality is like, okay, we're just going to start small, but we'll eventually the bigger goal is to grow bigger. Where
at
you
any
have
point,
a kind of thinking that like, okay, we're going to be a small company, and that's kind of the corner of the market that we're going to operate in, and that's going to be that, really, and we're going to make that the best it can be.
Yeah. So that I mean, we really hope to make it the best it can be, but the end goal is to really stay around the same size that we're at now. If anything, like maybe slightly bigger, but like, okay, so I see a few categories, right? There's like the big three, which is like Kusa, Chrome, and Sweets. And then you have some guys who are like somewhere in the middle, like Soul or Active, where they're in a lot of places, but they are not like Target or Walmart level kendama.
Right.
And then you have a bunch of guys who are more casual. So like people who are interest groups or people who are just like a smaller community.
Kind of like boutique. Yeah. That's what we say.
Like Grain Theory.
Yeah. Boutique.
Yeah. Analog. They're just kind of in the middle.
Actually, I kind of see I think Grain Theory is closer to Soul Size. Yeah, probably below Soul.
Yeah, they are a little bit bigger, but I just think they fit the description in the sense that they aren't looking to expand.
Yeah, so like GT, actually Analog's a good model. Like I talk to Baldo a lot on like Instagram, and like I look up to him a lot in the way like he makes things. Like he never sends them like direct from the factory. He actually like quality checks everything, you know. He hand stamps the bag, and like if you follow his personal Instagram, he's always like posting stories about how he's working on like minor changes to the shape. So like I really look up to like Analog. So I guess yeah, Analog is kind of the model that we like. The only difference is that they have a much stronger like local base, like they have events, and then like they physically can meet each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
think
for us
that
it's
has something to do with being based in California.
yeah, so like for us it's always been like a distance kind of thing. That's why
Right.
like for us Facebook's a really big medium for us. Like I'd rather be able to talk to 10 of our customers in Facebook than sell like 100 Damas to people I don't know.
You know, I think with your goal of, you know, just understanding that Cereal is a small company, and you know what you're up against. You know there's bigger companies out there, and you know there's smaller companies out there. But the space that you guys operate in is fully yours. And you know, that's one thing I really like about our relationship, even with Honed, is I love your Kendama reviews because you are able to understand those kendamas because you're not only a company owner, but you've designed kendamas, you've played a ton of kendamas, you've met a ton of kendama players, and it's not like you're just a player, you know, in the middle of nowhere who's just going like, yeah, I have nothing to do, I'll write your kendama reviews for you. You know, it's like it's your genuine interest that kind of showed me to trust you with the Kendama reviews for Honed. And, you know, I think the response that we've gotten from your reviews of people saying like, oh, this is great, or I learned a lot, or like this helped me buy something I was looking for. It's helping other companies. It's
Well,
helping other
actually,
consumers. It's
Reed Stark mentioned it.
impacting.
He name dropped, excuse me, name dropped Honed during an episode of Dama Nerds because he was really flattered, I think, by the review that was given. Not flattered in the sense that it was a positive review, but I think he just thought that it was very thorough and well done. And I believe, was that you that wrote that review on the Safari mod?
Oh yeah, I wrote the
Yeah.
Safari mod. Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard him mention that he felt, you know, really good about that review.
That's good. That's good to hear. I mean, like for me, like Kendama, I mean Dama nerds, right? So like I love the shape. Like increasing something by 1 mm makes a world of difference for every like Kendama. And every Kendama is honestly very different. Unless you're just going to AliExpress it, then I'm not gonna review an AliExpress
Vibe
Kendama.
hoods.
Vibe wood, yeah. So like I
It's
actually have
it's a
vibe woods,
Kendama.
Yeah, it's wood.
yeah.
It's wood.
Well,
It has a weight. It weighs an amount.
there's paint.
Yeah,
You know?
There's
yeah.
paint on it,
There's
at
paint
least on
it, yeah.
some amount of the Dama.
And it's not as cheap as people make it to be, you know. It's actually like proper money, you know. Top up a few more dollars and you could buy a boost, right? Like
Right. And so like I saw you making a post about Giga Kendama in Australia, and I feel like I'm going to be honest with you, with the Transform 3.0 Ken shape, you're talking about how you love Ken shapes. It seemed very similar to the Giga Kendama shape. Do you agree?
let me get a side by side for you.
Yes,
Oh,
please. It even has the
uh
triangle. It has the triangle on the bird stall on the rim of the cup. And they look kind of identical, to be honest.
Oh, you're talking about the delta sign.
The delta. There you go. Yes. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
right. Yeah, so it's interesting because Dylan Hurtle asked me the same thing, and it turns out like they didn't know. Oh wait, the new one doesn't have it. But I know which one I'm talking about. Yeah, but
Yeah, they saw that you had it.
no, they didn't know actually. There was someone reached out, and I can't remember what's the reason for them having it, but I'll tell you why we have it. So when we first dropped Transform in 2016, that was the time like Cereal Kendama was kind of splitting up. So we started with 5 best friends. 2 of them were kind of like graduating and going to do their own thing. So we decided to like reorganize how the company would be. That's when we decided to stop being like a business and more like an interest group. So that delta is usually meant to signify change, right? In like science. So all Kendamas wanted to have like the change to show that it was just like 3 guys left rather than like 5 guys.
So
and
why did
wives.
Giga
Yeah.
have that on their
5
cup
guys.
too?
I can't remember actually.
They were going through the same thing and thought the exact same idea.
I have no idea, dude. Like, the shapes are actually very different. Like, I think some of the things like my photo might not be able to capture was like the size. So like, so this is like big cup to big cup. We're pretty
Well,
big.
immediately the spike looks fatter on the one that's on
So this
the
is
right hand
GG.
side of the screen. That one
Yeah,
there.
so this is GG and then this is Cereal. Yeah. So they do well in being chunked. So like a lighthouse slaps on a GG. Like their base cup is huge.
I
Base
see.
cup's thinner. Yeah. And then they
I'm
have
doing
this,
another
like,
fact check because I want to comment, but I don't feel confident enough.
What are you looking? Are you looking up GG?
Yeah, do they have like an Instagram page or?
Yeah, they have a whole
have
website.
they have claimed that they have the biggest base cup, like before. But
Out of any out of any company?
yeah, I think so. Like, but I don't know if it's as big as the Lotus. Like, in my opinion, Lotus probably has
Lotus
like
is huge.
huge, yeah. Bit too big for my hand, but great for a beginner.
Yeah. I remember I don't know if it was Duncan, some other company, one of those kind of toy companies like Duncan had a kendama that was it was the base cup was just as big as the fucking small cup. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, Ozora has that actually. They have the trainer Dama, so it's like butterflied out, and the big base and small are around the same size and huge. A standard shape, yeah, it's bigger, but from a distance you can't really see. But if you ever see like Zumandanke when they play their Damas, it's the Damas are actually bigger than I think we would make them to be. But
right, it's almost like Viking size, wouldn't you say?
It's a
well, I was going to mention,
bigger.
Yeah, there you go. You have, I think it was some genius branding on the part of Terra because you find yourself saying the words "little bit bigger" all the time, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, that was Terra, right? That released the LBB, the little bit bigger Kendama.
Yeah, it was so interesting with LBB because they just made it a little bit too big for the KWC box. So during KWC they were shaving it down while they were in Japan.
Wow.
Really?
Everything else that they sold can't fit the box. But when I think Rod went to compete, he was just like sandpapering his Dama down to fit the box.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you think that's cheating?
So maybe they didn't nail it with the shape, but yeah, I wonder about that because at that point you could just like sand it flat. You're like, bird.
Yeah.
I don't know actually. I've only been like KWC once, so I'm not sure like what the culture was like prior to like 2019. Yeah.
Which KWC did you go to?
I went to the one last year.
And when you were there, did you enter the contest?
Yeah, I entered. So like I think as long as you show up, you can enter.
What did you place?
Somewhere around where Jake Ween's placed, I think, because I have a photo of like my score. So if you don't make it to like top 36, they just like print your score on a wall.
Yeah.
So I took a photo of but no, I was definitely not going to place in the finals.
So you were like second before last?
Yeah, about there. Like
right above Jake Ween's.
I didn't get 0 points.
Okay. So Jonny, really though, I think you're in a unique position as a company owner with Cereal because you have a totally different mindset. I really admire that, and I think because of that, because of that mindset, you allow yourself to develop new ideas, and like I know the NKO, New Kendama Order Kendama is based off of, American wrestling. I'm not saying that, this is you're not doing like what other companies do and, base a concept off of something that already exists, kind of like the person who recommended it to you. But what you are doing, I think, is, you're allowing yourself to, like you just did the Homer colors, the Simpsons colors. You also did collabs with Active, right?
Yeah.
And
he's one of the most passionate.
Yeah, and like you allow yourself, I think, to kind of go in certain corners and places in the Kendama community, Kendama marketplace, and that allow you interesting collaborations, coming up with good concepts. But not only that, but you're very honest, and you believe in what you're doing, and you're realistic. You see it as a small company mindset and permit it to be that. You have the mindset of growing slowly, and where I think a lot of people are in a rush to be first because everyone's still waiting on Kendama to be like bamboozled across the world to finally be here, you know. All the other companies want to be first to that. Do you agree with that?
I think for the big guys, they I agree. They probably want to be first into entering the markets, because when the initial spike of Kendama counts, is definitely a big it's definitely a big payday if you're having like the volume. But I don't ever see like Cereal as the kind of company that's going to grow a new market. Like if I were to place what we want to do, we just want to make sure some guy who's been playing for 3 months makes it to a year, not like play for 3 months and then drop off, right? So I don't think our job is to get someone to start playing Kendama, but our job is to make sure someone who started lasts a while longer than they normally would have.
Right, like you want to create players through your products.
I like not new players, but like keep them going, you know. Like if you're stuck on bird, let me show you how to do
cultivate
bird.
it and maintain it.
Yeah, because I mean that was like the kind of players that we were, you know. I discovered Dharma at 23, 29. I'm gonna be 40 and still playing Dharma.
You know, besides just having a company, how do you feel about Kendama and advertising and marketing? What are your thoughts on how companies present themselves, and are they different? What do they do similar? And what are you doing with Cereal, with your marketing, that, you know, kind of gives you a unique position?
He just wants to be the biggest company possible, I think. That's what I've taken.
That's what it sounds like. He's really
world domination. So
well, number one, world domination.
A Dama in every house, you know. We're gonna partner with Electrolux,
a framed Dama,
washing machines. So like Tide Pods X Cereal Kendama.
That'd be kind of fire. I'd buy that, as long as you put the X in there, because that's where all the hype is.
I used to work for Tide Pods, hence.
No way. We'll call him up. You got the connect.
Let's
get the Tide collab. Really though, Johnny, like, go ahead.
Marketing. It's evolved a lot over the years. I'd say a lot of the marketing. So there's like paid and there's like organic, earned and shared, right? I'd say like everything has developed except really like paid marketing. Because like as a digital marketer, I do a lot of media buying on like Facebook and other programmatic channels. And I think that's something that Kendama is super infant in. But then again, I also don't think it's the right channel to grow. Like, because it's such a unique sport or toy or art or whatever you want to call it, right? So I see the organic growth of it much better. Probably where we need to like improve is in like Kendama education. Like in the sense like, okay, but this is coming from like a nerd, right? Where like the minute differences in shapes and like how different things like affect each other. You know, like someone wants to go like ultra chunky base cup, and then you're like, yeah, sure, try the Luna on that, right? Like, and it's not going to work out. Or you're going to have like massive cups and no base cup. Try the Gunslinger on that. It's not going to work, you know. But I think like that's one of the reasons why like I like doing the whole review so much, because I feel like all these like little details about even how long the Nightingale is like affects like how the Tama would sit, how long the Cerrado is as well would affect, you know, the Tama size. Like everything talks to each other. It's a bit like nature. I guess it comes from a tree, that's why, right? So
everything talks to each other. I like that. I think that's a good way to put that. Like the Tama and the Ken need to talk to each other. Would you agree?
Yeah, super.
Newer thing I've picked up on was the cut out from the bottom of the small cup affects slingers so much, just the way that's angled.
And because when you cut it out, there's less weight here. So there's more weight on the base. And actually slingers, it's swinging on the base of it, right? So like if you have, I think you have the AK or the CK shape. Yeah, that's nuts for slingers. But it's gonna take a big hit on the Lunas, which is why they probably dug the wall.
I actually think with the AK shape, have you played this one?
Not this model, but yeah, I've played the AK shape. Yeah.
Right. The AK, in my opinion, it has so much focus on the Cerrado, and the cups are so large, and there's so much taken off of the base cup, as well as the length of the Ken, I think makes flip trick's a little bit awkward, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, because like it's a very interesting choice where you've made it the slimness of an old Kendama with the cup sizes of a new Kendama, and use the 60 Tama, which is the Tama of an old. Like you see with like the GG, right? Like it's not the biggest Kendama, its cups are small, but its Tama is not 61 or so, you know. Like I'll admit we've made that mistake before. The first time we sent you a Kendama, like Ryan, like we had a 61 Tama with a can built for 60
Yeah, right.
Kendama, right? So we were like, we done goofed up lah. So like, you know, we gotta fix that, right? And then like, yeah, so we went back to the drawing board, try to go back to like high school geometry, and then figure out what will work. Yeah, so
that's another thing you mentioned, the education. That can be confusing as hell, man. Even for me,
yeah,
like 5 or so years in, I have a hard time figuring out what tamas are ideal for what Kens. You know what I mean? Which ones are meant for men. It's not like you can just, let me just take out a piece of string and measure down to the 1/2 of a millimeter how big my tama is. Like,
yeah,
you gotta kind of know all
that. And then like some people do 60, 61, 62. Some people mark it as 3%. Yeah, 61.5 or 3% bigger, 5% bigger, 8% taller. Like what's all that, you know? Like in a non-capitalistic world, I just have every shape with every dimension. But that's super controversial, right? Because like who would put their name on saying like, okay, this is the exact millimeter of the cup, right?
Make like a build a dama situation.
Do you think there's a perfect Kendama shape?
I think that's a perfect shape for everyone. Like, I don't think there's one perfect shape out there, just because people have different play styles. Like probably the Adrian Esteban mod is a perfect shape for Adrian Esteban, right? Like
I see.
But it's not gonna work for some other people. I guess like, okay, so from a player's perspective,
Kaizen V1 is a perfect shape.
Yes,
for me.
Kaizen V1 is amazing.
Yeah. Right.
So
I don't know what there wasn't. I thought everything else was kind of bullshit after that. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because I was telling Wenchen, like, I've seen Keith Matsumura lace a triple lunar flip on a Kaizen V1.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is truly it's either the best player in the world or that's the best shape in the world. Yeah. Because I try, I struggle with triple lunar flip even with like a boost. I think boost is one of the best shapes out there. I'm not afraid to say boost.
I think so too. I really do. I really like my Fraser mod. Like if that's the most optimized boost shape out there, then
well, that's another one I haven't tried yet, but I thought it was really neat that you mentioned the Fraser mod. They made the version without the without the base cup hole, because like you mentioned, that you can't. It doesn't seem like there really is that perfect balance of
the original
slingers.
The original Fraser mod was the first boost shape, right?
Yeah, it was the first. What they call their bevel? Like, did they use warp also? Oh, I can't remember what the.
I don't know if it was warp. I think isn't warp chrome?
The base cup, they call it a balance bevel at Sweets.
Balance bevel, yeah.
I believe.
But even like with the radars, the new radars, I think a boost shape on beach, if it's sticky paint, is still good.
It's amazing. It's like, honestly, Sweets has been ahead of the game for shapes. Like when F3 came out versus everything that everyone else had. Then when Stay Dog came out, they came out with Prime. And
the Prime was great at the time.
Yeah,
Prime.
So Boost is
like
Prime, F5, right?
I came in with F3, and my F3 was my first like professional Kendama, and I loved that Kendama.
I love
F3 orange paint. Oh my god, it was that.
So
that's when I was like, it was the F3 ATAC Kendama, and
okay.
Oh my god, it was I landed so much stuff so quickly compared to all the Chinese stuff I was buying on Amazon, factory stuff, and
Caleb Kendama.
Caleb Kendama, right.
All of my favorite Kendamas earlier on, I feel like, were just the most random beater damas. I was really into my TKs, and then like I just had this green, I think it was Kendama Europe that did the play.
Oh yeah,
Kendama.
Oh yeah, play Kendama,
like a TK basically. I had a green one and I just murdered it, and I loved it. Like I learned so many tricks on it. It was the greatest.
One Kendama that I didn't really like was this one I bought off Amazon. It was kind of.
Well, it's just the logo is just too busy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Maybe
if the
exactly. There's too much happening with that, and
I tell Wenchen
that's what you get from Amazon.
Like whenever I fail a trick, I'm like, fucking Cereal Kendama.
It
Doesn't-
came in
Because of
the
the
cereal
logo. It
box.
messed you up.
It
Yeah,
came
it's one
right
of
out of
those
this box like that. That's how it came with this.
dollar gifts. Yeah.
You chipped your tooth on it because you're eating the cereal and you just accidentally scooped it up in the bowl.
You know, we actually looked into making cereal. It's just a nightmare when it comes to like FDA stuff.
I thought you already made
Self-food.
cereal.
No, we ripped off our brand from that one actually.
Oh, okay.
You should just package them in like a little cereal box. That'd be sick.
I like that. I think you should. Yeah. And there should be like Kendama. You know how you have your lucky stars, little Kendamas.
Yeah, with like nutrition information that just says like stupid bullshit on it or whatever.
Yeah. Lucky
We thought of a
spikes.
box. We thought of a box, but then like we were worried about how much trash that would create.
Lucky spike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
Hey
That-
man,
that was,
create
Make
Make
trash.
it biodegradable cardboard,
mm,
and
Jonny, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I appreciate all of your insight. I appreciate everything you do for Hone too. All the reviews, man, have been awesome. And
thank you for having me though. Like I
oh
love to
no,
make the
dude,
reviews.
it was a
yeah.
no-brainer. It really was. Once I thought about it, and you brought it up. I was just like, yeah, I bet Jonny would be great for it, because I really do believe that you have a certain insight that a lot of other players or company owners don't necessarily get a lot of access to, and so I think that's really cool, and I think it's unique, and I love sharing your perspective because it's honest and true and knowledgeable, so I appreciate that. So, and of course, Tony, thanks as always, being here for us to
hey,
commentate.
thanks, man.
Yeah,
I think you shorted me on my title at the beginning there, but that's okay.
what do you mean
I'll
I shorted you on the
I
title?
lost clout. You were the host and I was Tony.
Do you want me to say co-host from now on?
I want you to cut it to black at the beginning and then just like lean really into the mic for this edit and be like, also, very importantly, co-hosted by.
Here, then let me restart then, right here. Here.
We got to take it
Fuck
back.
you. No, hey, yeah, look. Hey, this is Ryan with the Bevel's Advocate podcast, and I am with my wonderful, talented co-host, Tony Stabile, and joining us today is a very special guest, somebody who I've known for a while and who I have worked with, and I'm very happy to have him on the show, Jonny from Cereal Kendama. Thank you, Jonny, for coming on the show. How are you doing, Jonny?
Thanks for having me on the show. I'm doing good. I think we've come to the end of the show. So
Okay.
That felt
Yeah.
good. I think we can, if we just start from the beginning from there and re-record everything,
Right.
I'll feel a lot
Okay.
better.
Here, wait. Let's start the whole show over. Ready? Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
No,
we
for
do
real.
a wrestling entrance for you.
It started on a weird vibe after that, so I just
Right.
feel like we should
That was
start
just
over.
the take one.